Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Change Starts With Us Ohio. We have Frank Woods with us again, and he's going to share a little bit more about the core of his conviction so people can kind of understand what actually happened. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me back again. And I want to thank everyone for listening. This is a grave matter that should concern every American citizen. And, of course, we'll get to that in the future. Jim, we were talking about the charges and how they appeared on the same indictment. And all that came about through the state's leading expert, Dr. Suzanne LaSure of Cornerstone Psychological Services out of Medina County. And I showed in a previous phone call how she just walked a report, evidence, into the judge's chambers. This is on record.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
And the record I'm talking about are the trial transcripts regarding my case. And that is State of Ohio versus Frank P. Wood, Medina County case number 05CR0365. So everything we're talking about, Jim, is supported by state court public records and verified by uncontested affidavits published on my website. I want everyone to know it's www.freefrankpwood.com. Please read the truth. In the meantime, Dr. LaJour, she walked that police report psych report right into Judge Collier's chambers. Of course, that violated every Criminal Rule 16 discovery method known. But we're going to explain that a little bit more in the near future. And like I said before, Dr. LaJour had diagnosed both alleged victims in my case with adjustment disorder. Then she was given that county contract to the Medina County Commissioners to get paid through Children's Services to treat sexually abused children in Medina County. Then she changed her diagnoses of both girls on record to sexual abuse. Now that we caught up with where we were at before, I would like to bring Danielle Sadowski, also known as Danielle Smith on Facebook. I'd like to bring her back into play. She actually testified she had no idea what type of abuse the alleged rape victim suffered. Okay? This is very important. Then she changed her testimony during trial 2 minutes later, and she said she was told it was not sexual. But wait a minute. This girl was placed in the Sadowski home by Children's Services due to abuse. So Children's Services is not going to tell them what type of abuse this child suffered. That right there alone is skeptical, because they would need to know what type of symptoms and signs to look for in case she needs further treatment and therapy. And the remarkable thing is, during all the interviews, like with Children's Services, Akron Children's Hospital, and Dr. Suzanne LaSure, all three interviews, Danielle Sadowski was present, telling the story as if she lived it. This is why they wouldn't show the videos during court due to coaching. Okay? Now, and this is contrary because Danielle actually told me this poor girl was sexually abused in at least 2 other homes prior to me meeting her. And the record shows, I want everyone to know, I only knew this girl 28 intermittent and partial days. And plus, I was running my company 12, 14 to 16 hours a day. I was constantly on the run. And if the kids were home, Danielle was home. We were always together. Now, let's see here.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Now, as far as this goes, Danielle's testimony for now. The state did not want to discuss on record her biological father, Rick Lazard, because the girl was placed in her maternal grandmother's house. She was known as Grandma Alice on record, and this was in Cuyahoga County. So this girl was taken from another home, placed in Grandma Alice's home in Cuyahoga County, was treated by other social workers who were never interviewed in my case, nor did they testify. And then she was taken from Grandma Alice's home and given to Scott and Danielle Sadowski due to abuse. And at that time, this girl was being treated by Dr. Natalie Jedasek out of Medina off of Route 18. Okay? Now, listen to this. It says here in a patient communication form, is that what this is? It says, patient has been interviewed by Tricia Carcetti, Medina County social worker, officer report, Danielle, Scott, paternal grandmother, Scott's mother, Dr. LaJour, Cornerstone Psychological Services, Julie Root, a school counselor, Aaron Simpson, a fourth grade teacher, and the patient talked to a few friends. So now we have all these unqualified people, and we already know Danielle told her, Frankie raped you, and there was no rape. I got the Akron Children's Hospital medical report. Okay? So that means all these people should have been interviewed regarding the alleged rape victim. None of them were. In fact, I was never interviewed by the site. And for Dr. LaJour, there are no cases where she has ever testified for a defendant because she gets paid. Now, there was also, moving forward with that. Now, if you think about a school counselor and a fourth grade teacher, none of them had the psychological education, certifications, or the legal right to interview her about such matters, because we don't know what type of methods they used. And a few friends, oh, that's just wonderful. What impact, Jim? Think about this. Did the imaginations of a group of 8 to 10-year-olds have on this poor girl's abused and manipulated mind, especially since she was abused prior to meeting me? And this is why Judge Collier illegally suppressed the psych report that Dr. LaJour walked into his office. Okay? So all these people should have been interviewed. This and Dr. Jedasek should have been brought in to testify. This whole thing was a disaster, and I'm paying the price. Also, nurse practitioner Donna Abbott, she conducted at Akron Children's Hospital.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
You know, and she also interviewed the girl. And this doctor, this practitioner said it didn't happen. She could not conclude, quote unquote, that the rape had occurred. Prosecutor Eisenhower interviewed this girl, and she's no longer in office. And we don't know who else was involved. This is bad. This is a disaster. Now, something else, too, that I had here I wanted to touch base on. I'm trying to go through some notes and pick up some speed here because it's a very complex case. It's very complicated also. Let's see here. 1 second, Jim. Terribly sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
Take your time.
Okay, here it is. I wrote about this in my book, A Blueprint for Wrongful Imprisonment, on my website. And people, you're going to remember this, America. Listen to me. It's called the telephone game. We all played it in school. Remember? We all sat in a circle, and the teacher probably whispered in one student's ear, "We're having pizza for lunch." And due to experiences, biases, predispositions, and in the communication process, what they call interference or static, it gets whispered into the next child's ear, then the next, then the next. And by the time it gets all the way around the class, we this case went. This is why hearsay should be outlawed across the country. There should be no inadmissible hearsay, especially since not a single person witnessed anything in my case. There's no DNA. There's no physical evidence of any kind for either allegation. On the rape, I was 62 miles away. On the felony 3, GSI, Judge Collier said, what I'm hearing her say is, no, it didn't happen. But he made sure he helped that prosecutor and got his conviction. Her conviction, actually. Now, I wanted to point that out because memories can be altered. But I wrote about that. I studied it extensively as cell assemblies in my book. It's worth reading. Now, here's something. Regarding, this is something that the psych did not know. Detective Mark Kohler, formerly of the Medina City Police Department, and I can't wait till we have a few phone calls about him. He interviewed the alleged GSI victim. And this comes right from his police report. He admitted in the report that her story was, quote unquote, probably not accurate in reality. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my lead counsel, Attorney Green, kept telling me they were having trouble with this girl. That's because they had trouble with the implanted memories, keeping me in them and keeping Uncle Ryan Spencer out of them. But it didn't work. Came out during trial. Now, let's see here. Yeah,
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
let's see. All right, now. I was just looking here, Jim, trying to scan each page that I wanted to quote from so people knew what was going on. Ah, yes. The alleged, and the psych didn't know about this part either. The alleged GSI victim, okay, in my case, is my former wife's daughter. And she testified twice on record that she could not even recall being at a crime scene with me. The judge removed her from the stand, admonished Prosecutor Eisenhower, and told her, I don't want you testifying for this witness. She actually said on record, Your Honor, put her back on the stand. I made a quote-unquote pact with her. So she made a deal with a state child witness during trial. That's a federal crime. That's witness tampering.
You have 1 minute remaining.
You're going to call back?
That go fast.
Yeah.
You know what, brother? I'm going to call you right back.
Okay, sounds great.
Thanks, Jim.
See, these guys really have a story to tell. And, we've turned down some people from interviewing. I had to really believe in the person, before I can. I believe Frank, Pat, some of these other people that we've interviewed are innocent, or as I was, wrongfully convicted. That means something happened, just not what the conviction was. I would have only got 6 months on the original charge, and the judge ordered me into counseling and dropped it, and the state picked it up and charged me with attempted kidnapping. But that's here or there. I just want you to know that there are innocent people that's behind bars, but there's also those that claim to be innocent that are not.
Hello. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hey, Jim.
Okay, you're back, I see. Okay, no problem.
All right. I wanted to talk to you, Jim, and everyone that's listening. Thank you. If you recall, the alleged rape case was signed in with Dr. Suzanne Leger in Medina while Danielle was living with me on record, and she never told me about this. Okay? So she was hiding this from me, and this is important. Okay? She hid a lot of things from me that I didn't know about because eventually Danielle moved out of my house and took the kids and moved back in with Scott Sadowski because she thought she was pregnant with his baby. Yes, interesting. That's also supported by the records that I have. Now, eventually, Danielle got her own place, and the girl lived with Scott from October until May from October of 2004 to May of 2005 when trial commenced. Okay? Now, here's a problem with this. During that time, now remember, I only knew this girl 28 partial.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
During this time, a new allegation surfaced. The girl said she was abused 50 times. Excuse me, approximately 50 times. Really? So these new allegations surfaced while she's living alone with Scott. The same guy she spent the indicted weekend of abuse with in Clinton Bay, Ottawa County, Ohio. This is not good. Now, I had to get that out there. That was just too important. People need to know about that. Too much mind play. Way too much mind play. And what happened to her during that time? Nobody knows. Nobody asked. Now, it's remarkable. I would like to know, as the state's expert witness, how much Dr. LaJour gets paid for this contract. And under FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, that's Title V of the United States Code Service, Section 552. I would really like to know how much she got paid. We should all know, because she's being paid with tax dollars. That's the problem. This whole wrongful conviction, this wicked injustice, was paid with tax dollars. That's the problem, Jim. People drive by the courthouse, they drive by the prisons, they drive by the police. Oh, they're there, it all works, everything's fine. Yeah, until you or one of your loved ones become a stock option. And get me started. Now, in the meantime, this is just amazing. Listen to this. During a voir dire, Dr. LaJour testified, and the jury did not hear them. Judge Collier asked Dr. LaJour, do you advise children, when you're asking them about what happened to them, that these statements may be used in court, or that law enforcement may obtain these statements? Are they aware of that? Did you advise them of that? And this is what Dr. LaJour testified to. I actually tell all the children who visit me on their first visit that what they say to me is private. She justified the children. There's two things about medical practitioners of any kind. And the reason I know this is because I study psychology and medicine in prison to prove my innocence. One of the first rules is you need to establish trust. Trust means to allow without fear. Trust is the absence of deception. Number two, diagnose before you prescribe. Now, this is amazing. What do we have here? Yes. And then she testified that she provides psychotherapy, parent guidance for parents, and support for the legal process. She further testified, I always anticipate there might be testimony in a case like this, and that she, quote unquote, understood the statements would be used in court. Then she reinforced this testimony with, this is just classic here. Let me get the whole quote. I am accustomed to being summoned from court because I am a mandated child abuse reporter on contract. And remember, the contract was never mentioned already. So these are the types of things, that just left me stunned. Once I understood them, it's crystals that Dr. LaJour deems it morally and ethically proper to lie to children who visit her for treatment. Now, there's a problem with this. And people need to know about this because we're going to talk about something in the future. And this is from page 240 of my book. fingerprint for wrongful imprisonment.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility.
That book is
and may be
interesting,
recorded
folks.
and monitored.
Paragraph 739. Without the children knowing that the police will know what they say, and what they say is not private, there will be neither curb nor restraint on the free flow of implanted, transplanted memories. Dr. Lesureur's protocols are beyond questionable, unethical, and immoral. In all actuality, they are contractually biased, leaving her results unreliable and therefore inadmissible in open court. That people need to understand. So I wanted that put on a record. People need to know what's going on. Now, there were also two gentlemen that were at Job and Family Services that interviewed my former wife Robin and her daughter. One was David Madrich. Okay? He was evidently one of the two gentlemen, and neither one of them testified at my trial about the alleged GSI because they didn't want to. Remember, Children's Services closed that case against me. They knew something was wrong. Now, also, during trial, it was revealed that Prosecutor Eisenhower was secretly involved with the interview of this girl at Job and Family Services. It came out during trial. Really? That's just too much. And regarding the alleged GSI victim, my former wife at that time had a new fiance, and this poor girl had numerous male figures in her life. None of them were interviewed by Dr. Lesueur. They kept the nucleus of those who testified. All these mysterious people who interviewed the girls outside of the scope of their professional capacity, none of them testified against me. No immediate or extended family or close personal friends on either side testified against me. Why? They tried to keep that nucleus tight, but they went too tight. They didn't think somebody was going to sit down and reverse engineer his transcripts. It took a while, but damn it, I got it. Now, let's see here. Oh yeah, this has been quite the event, Jim. Sometimes I get on fire, you know. You think after 15 years it wouldn't bother me. No, it bothers me more and more every year. This is barbaric to do to somebody. Now, let's see here. Wanted to make sure.
You have an interesting story, and I'm hoping people grasp on what you're trying to say to them.
Say again?
You have a very interesting story. You know, a lot of things contradict itself on how you're convicted. So I'm hoping something positive happens.
Thank you. I need something to happen. I need help. I need people to get my story, my website, my Facebook, my evidence to the press. I need some type of law school or giant law firm that can handle this to come forward and kick Medina smack in the ass. This has to happen. It is a non-optional social convention in the greatest nation on earth to free the innocent. I am a patriot. I love my country. Okay? I value my country. I know parts of it are broken and need fixed, but this is the United States of America. This isn't the Soviet Union. This isn't some little third world country, and we're not all living in sewage. Okay? This must be remedied. I have every bit of evidence they need and supporting law to reopen my case in any court. I have everything needed. I've done all the homework. Okay? Now, let's see here. That's another subject we're going to get to, but we're going to wait until that's going to be in the near future. Let's see here. Yes. And here's the problem. True. Memories fade, quote unquote, over time. That's, I got the case law for it. What more, courts also recognize that memories can be altered and implanted as quote unquote false memories through psychotherapy and or hypnosis because Subject wants to please therapist. I have the law. Now, this is why courts are reluctant to give, they don't want to give me a new trial. But they don't have to worry about it. They just need to go by the original transcripts. Okay? So this is such a serious blight on our society that the False Memory Syndrome Foundation exists. This is an organization of parents who claim that their adult children have falsely accused them of childhood sexual abuse. The organization was formed in 1992 to support people who claim to have been wrongfully accused of childhood sexual abuse as a result of the purported recovery of repressed memories. And that is out of Black's Law Dictionary. Okay? These people really exist. And remember, we talked...
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
But unfortunately, Vogel's gone. You know, I can't locate them anywhere. Victims of child abuse laws, I could really use their help. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Yep, we discussed that. I can flip that page. All right. I'm getting better at this. Just work with me. All right. Oh, here's something fantastic. The alleged rape victim, transcript page 92, initially and repeatedly denied any wrongdoing by me. Remember that. That's important. Now, Danielle said she badgered this girl on record from September of 2004 to January of 2005 until this poor girl gave in and told her the story she wanted to hear. That's on record. This is the same woman that the judge called not truthful in her testimony and let her testify with court acknowledged and state utilized perjury. That alone throws my case out. At least minimum new trial. But they don't want me back in the courtroom. They're scared. They're embarrassed. And they should be. Now, here's something. Transcript page 216. Via his own testimony, Scott Sadowski actually admitted that he believed the girl when she denied any wrongdoing by me. That's a guilty conscience speaking. Everybody needs to understand that. Now, let's see here. This is really remarkable. Also, both of these girls on record were abused prior to meeting me. That's the problem. And that made transference very easy. And I also wrote about that in great length and detail. Let's see here. I'm going to switch over to the next page now. I know it's in there's so much detail here. I spent so much time researching this case. I have everything they need. I just need somebody with the oomph.
You have 1 minute remaining.
We got to stop there, my good man.
Give your contact information for these good folks.
Sure. Goodness. Frank P. Wood, number A504107. I'm at the Richland Correctional Institute.
This call is originating from an Ohio
Richland
correctional
Correctional
facility and may
Institution.
be
Is that?
recorded and monitored.
P.O. Box 8107, Mansfield, Ohio 44901. I invite all your questions. Jim, I'll give you a call in a couple days.
Okay, and that sounds good, Frank. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, thanks for letting me talk this out.
Okay, brother.
You guys have a good night.
Thanks. Bye. That's Frank P. Woods, who's at Richland Correctional Institution. If you'd like to check out our website, it's www.changestartswithusohio.org. Again, that is www.changestartswithusohio.org. Our email is changestartswithusohio at gmail.com. And I'm looking for our phone number, our business phone. It is 614-507-4593. Again, if you need to get a hold of us, it is 614-507-4593. Everybody have yourself a great, great night, and see you next time.